Hey everyone, today we are diving into the world of plaster and figuring out how much you'll need for your project. It's a common question, and the answer isn't always straightforward. So let's break it down. First, we need to understand what affects the plaster consumption. It's not just about the square footage of your wall. There are a few key factors that come into play. One big factor is the surface defects. If you're dealing with a rough wall, you'll need more plaster to fill in those imperfections. A smooth wall, on the other hand, will require less plaster. Another factor is the type of finishing you're going for. A simple, smooth finish will use less plaster than a textured or decorative finish. The type of construction base also plays a role. If you're working with concrete, brick, or drywall, each will have a different plaster consumption rate. Now, let's talk about the methods of calculating plaster consumption. There are a few ways to approach this. You can use a simple formula, which takes into account the area of the wall and the thickness of the plaster layer. Or, you can consult a professional, who can provide a more accurate estimate based on your specific project. The consumption of material also depends on the type of plaster you're using. Let's talk about plasters based on gypsum. These are popular choices for interior walls and ceilings. Gypsum plasters are known for their good workability and fast drying time. They are also relatively affordable. The consumption rate for gypsum plaster can vary depending on the specific product and the thickness of the layer you're applying. But generally, you can expect to use around 0.0 to 0.20 kilograms of plaster per square meter of wall area. Remember, these are just general guidelines. It's always best to consult the manufacturer's instructions for the specific plaster you're using. They'll provide the most accurate information on consumption rates and application techniques. Hey everyone, today we are diving into the world of plaster and figuring out how much you'll need for your project. We are going to talk about different types of plaster, what factors influence consumption, and how to calculate it correctly. First, let's talk about the different types of plaster mixtures. We have cement sand mixtures, which are the most common and affordable. They are great for basic plastering jobs. Then there are decorative mixtures, which come in a variety of colors and textures, adding a unique touch to your walls. Next, we have rot band, a gypsum-based plaster that's known for its fast drying time and excellent adhesion. It's often used for interior walls and ceilings. And then there's corrode, a plaster that's specifically designed for exterior walls. It's resistant to moisture and weather conditions, making it ideal for outdoor applications. Finally, we have Venetian plaster, a luxurious and elegant option that creates a smooth, polished finish. It's a bit more expensive than other types of plaster, but it adds a touch of sophistication to any space. Now, let's talk about what factors influence plaster consumption. The thickness of the plaster layer is a big one. A thicker layer will obviously require more plaster. The condition of the wall surface also plays a role. If the wall is uneven or has cracks, you'll need more plaster to create a smooth finish. And of course, the type of plaster you choose will also affect consumption. Some plasters are denser than others, meaning you'll need more of them to cover the same area. Let's do a quick example calculation. Let's say you're plastering a wall that's 10 square meters. You're using a cement sand mixture and planning for a 20 centimeter thick layer. First, you need to convert the thickness to meters, which is 0.20 meters. Then, you multiply the wall area by the thickness. 10 square meters multiplied by 0.20 meters equals TWO cubic meters. Now, you need to consider the density of the plaster. Let's assume a density of 1.8 tons per cubic meter. Multiplying the volume by the density, we get TWO cubic meters multiplied by 1.8 tons per cubic meter, which equals 3.6 tons of plaster. Keep in mind that this is just a rough estimate. It's always best to consult with a professional, or check the manufacturer's recommendations for specific plaster types. Now, let's talk about the materials needed to prepare cement composition. You'll need cement, sand, and water. The ratio of cement to sand can vary depending on the desired strength and workability of the plaster. For a standard plaster mix, you'll typically use 1 part cement to 3 parts sand. You'll also need to add water gradually until you achieve a workable consistency. Remember, always mix the plaster thoroughly to ensure a consistent and smooth finish. That's it for today's plastering lesson. I hope this video has helped you understand how to calculate plaster consumption and the factors that influence it.